Okay, and I see that we have our speakers here, so we will start with them so they can get back to their day. And I didn't know, Dr. Peg and Dr. Hertzberg, if you had anything that you wanted to share, or if you just wanted to jump into questions.
I think it's mainly if there's any questions, certainly, I think I'll just start off with a brief review. So far, everything's going well. Testimony is open, oral testimony is about to begin. Then the reference committee will consider all of those comments, come up with a draft opinion, publish that, and then there'll be another round of testimony open there, and the committee will then consider that further and then publish, the recommended actions, which will be our starting point for the House. They should publish that probably about a week or so in advance of the House, so all the internal caucusing and things like that can take place before we arrive. Thursday before the House of Delegates is a virtual social in the evening. Friday there are a couple of things. One, Stop the Bleed program, which is for unfortunate mass casualties where you may find yourself in a terrible situation, but have the opportunity to save a life. And then our keynote speaker for a CME in the afternoon. That evening, again, is another social on site for those that are attending live. Saturday morning is a community breakfast. All along leading up to the House also are training sessions to make sure that everybody's okay with the platform and that things work. Those training sessions will be recorded for those that are unable to attend them, actively participate in them. Everyone will need to complete either a recorded or a live training session in order to be seated as a voting member of the House. And then Saturday morning opens with a community breakfast. I think the website will be open early too, to make sure that people can connect and get on. You will need to have a code. Everybody will have their own code in order to participate onto the platform, at least as a voting member. And then at 9 a.m. the House starts. We anticipate the business of the House possibly being done by 3 p.m. Hopefully, we've set things up for that. During lunch will be the elections, as we usually have them via Election Buddy. And I think that's basically it. There may be runoff elections, so even after the House recesses its business, we may have another Election Buddy session, depending on the number of candidates and the vote counts, if we need to do runoffs. That was it in a nutshell. I don't know if I left anything out, Allison or Dr. Hertzberg.
The only thing I would just emphasize, I think you hit everything, was that by September 22nd, everyone attending the meeting, whether virtually or on site, needs to make a commitment to which direction that's going. And that's sort of the last date we were able to set to be able to be ready for everything. So that's September 22nd. You have to make that's the deadline to make a commitment to whether you're registering for the in-person or the virtual attending session.
Oh, that's a good point. Yep. They're obviously to get seat counts, food counts, everything locked down at Hershey. We need to know who's attending. We started this morning talking about COVID and making sure that everybody's safe there. So we have our on-site preparations as well for that. But yeah, and again, you won't be able at the last minute to say, okay, I'm coming. You could, unfortunately, if I guess circumstances change and you do become ill or you have an exposure, you can change your on-site to remote, but not the other way around. Any feedback from, the preparation for this meeting is not much different than the last 2 years as we've been remote. The nice thing this year is our timetable is a little bit more paced, that people can get on, review the resolutions, comment on them. There's a little bit more opportunity for that this year than in years past. So hopefully that helps things and how it helps at least the reference committee too with some thoughtful opinion as they prepare for it. But certainly any feedback you have at this point is welcome. Any questions you have at this point are welcome. Everybody's still in the Labor Day weekend. Are there any other points that we need to emphasize?
I don't think so. Most of the delegates have received an email from us, so they acknowledging that they are they've been registered as a delegate or an alternate, directing them to, as you said, register before September 22nd, guiding them to the different things, the oral testimony, the written testimony, etc. And that document is also on the county share site. So as we know, I'm sure some of them will miss that email. It's on the share site as well for the county leaders to be able to grab that and share that again.
Great. Okay, well, you know where we are, you know where Allison is. Let us know. Certainly any questions, you know, this is where the pace picks up a little bit here in September as we get closer to October, and really September 22nd is right around the corner. What is our registration count right now, live and remote?
Let me look, hold on.
It did look like we had a good number of participants.
Give me just a minute.
Staff will be also this week reaching out by phone just to offer our assistance and to answer any questions to the delegates and alternates, just to make sure they didn't miss the email. They know where to find the registration. They know they need to choose in person or remote by September 22nd, just to make sure they have an individual connection.
We are at 37 remote and 75 in person.
Okay.
So just over 100.
Great. I mean, the 75 in person is kind of robust. So that's a good. I wasn't sure post-COVID, you know, you see all the different meetings and a lot of them are sparsely attended now because everybody's used to remote. So but that's a good sign. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry, we're a quiet group today.
Yeah, I think it's the, you know, the Tuesday after a Monday holiday kind of probably threw everybody off. All right, enjoy, stay safe.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you. We will quickly move on to a couple of things we wanted to cover as we have now moved into the 2023 membership due cycle. I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that we had successfully rolled to the next year. On the county share site is a 2-page document called Important Dates 2023 Dues Billing, which is, I have it printed. It's very helpful just to have handy because those are all of the important dates that internally PA Med staff is working to hit to deliver invoices and to post dues. So we did go out with an email on September 1st to all of our members to say, hey, it's time to renew. I'm excited to say many did, more so than in the past. We will mail our first individual dues on 9/29, and this is all in the document. I just wanted to make sure I touched base. And then in October, on the 13th will be our first group dues billing. And then you'll see down through the document various emails that we'll send to remind folks to renew, online. We like when they renew online, makes it so much easier for all of us, saves some money. And then you'll see in January is when we do the individual billing for everybody. So those folks who did not get paid through the group dues invoice, we find that it's time then to send the individual invoice so we don't lose them completely if their group is choosing not to pay for them. So the individual bills will go out in early January. And then we send that dreaded last chance postcard toward the end of January, which gets all kinds of calls, and they say they never saw any invoices. They never heard anything from us, and we are happy to take their credit card and renew them on the spot. And then we have our all hands on deck happening on February 7th and 8th. Which is where all of PA Med staff and many of the County Medical Society staff take a couple of days to reach out and to call everybody who has not yet renewed, again, just to reach out and say, can I help you renew? Can I take your credit card? Do you need a new invoice? That time is, for anybody that's not familiar, is a great time for us to gather data, because often the reason they haven't paid is they have a new address, they left the group, they're with a new group, a group has added somebody, removed somebody, and that's a really great, or retired. That's the other thing we find, many people saying I retired. So that's a really good exercise for us all to take part in. And then on March 3rd or March 1st, anybody who has not renewed at that point will be removed from membership, and we will post that list to the county share site of the list of individuals who were removed from membership. This year, we're doing a couple of things to try to encourage members to renew by the 31st. If they do renew by the 31st, they'll be entered to win one of 5 sets of AirPods. We're hoping that will entice people to get in before that 12/31 deadline. And then all of members who select auto renew, which again is super helpful for us because they don't need to then receive invoices or reminders. They are automatically renewed, will receive a PA Med t-shirt. And last year was the first year we really advertised that, and we did have over 100 members select that, which is exciting. So we hope to increase that number because that helps all of us all around. So we're hoping to call that out to them and make them aware, and perhaps get a few more to make that selection. Are there any questions about the dues billing cycle? I would encourage you to take a look at that document on the share site and print it. I find it very helpful to know, especially if you get questions. We did get several people when we sent out the email that said it's time to renew, frantically call and want to pay us. And so I was excited because, you know, maybe little do they know they have several months to do that, but that was a great problem to have, the phones ringing to renew their membership. In talking about renewing membership, I asked Janet Manier from our accounting department to join us just to review. Most everybody here with us has been with us a long time and is probably familiar, but just to review the county payback reports and what you should be looking for and what to know from the county payback reports. From time to time, we do get questions about what they mean, or when are they coming, that kind of thing. So I just asked Janet to join us for a minute just to share a report and just talk us through it really quick.
Good morning, everyone. I am going to share my screen to just show you what a payback report looks like and give you the details of when the money should be received by the counties on a semi-monthly basis. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, super. So paybacks are done on a semi-monthly basis. The payback period is the 1st of the month to the 15th of the month. Because of how our cutoff works, we will cut off, and the reconciliation is done to how much to send back to the counties is done on the following day. So the 1st to the 15th is completed on the 16th. The 16th to the end of the month is completed the 1st day of the following month. So taking into consideration weekends, it's done the 1st business day. Weekends and holidays, it would be done the 1st business day after the end of those payback periods. Everybody is signed up now to receive their monies via ACH, so it's dropped directly into your bank account. Those monies, once we drop them, so for example, a payback period that's 1 to 15, the 1st day of the month to the 15th, the 16th it's prepared. Mary Jane is the one that does that in our accounting department. She would prepare them, and they are initiated to your bank, and it's a 2-day drop. So if all things work, meaning that all your information is lined up, which we have everybody's in, you should expect your monies to be in there by the 18th or the 19th, depending on when your bank drops ACH from receiving it. So to take a quick look at the payback report, the one I have up in front of you is from earlier in this year. So for the end of this year, so September through December, if you have a straggler or somebody who is making installment payments, you may see a section on this report that says 2022 dues or 2023 dues. So since this is for the last year, this report is showing the 2022 membership year. It will be for your county, and this report will be emailed to you to the contact that we have, and it will reach you before you actually receive your monies. So it will tell you your county, it'll tell you the record number that the individual has, it'll tell you the individual that's paying, it'll tell you the amount that's being paid, and if there was any discount, and the total amount that you're receiving. So this report here is for Franklin County. They only have the full active rate of $50. So the total of those 3 individuals was 150. So 150 is what you would have received in your bank automatically. And this report should match up. If at any time this report doesn't match up, please give Mary Jane a call or email her, and her email would be it would be on the email you receive with the payback report. Other counties will have multiple sections depending on the subcategories or the membership package that they have. So there may be more groupings than just a full active rate, but the total amount received should still match what is received in your bank. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you. We're always here to help. Just send us an email or give us a call.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you.
The next thing that we have on our list is, again, just as we have rolled into 2023, Julie is just going to quickly review a couple of things that you might be looking for in Nucleus that you might not quickly find. Things like, how do I know who my new members are? How do I know who has paid? So I just asked Julie to do a quick review of those because I know that's the questions I'm always asking on a state level, and I'm sure you guys are too. So I see Julie is sharing her screen. So Julie, go right ahead.
Hello, everyone. Okay, as Claire said, now that we have moved into 2023, we are now adding new members, members that are paying. So the reports are growing. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of the filters to help you know who has paid for 2023, who your new members are versus your renewals. So I have a county pulled up here. This should replicate what your nucleus looks like for your county. So the first thing that I always do would be go into the total members card and explore. And that takes a minute to populate. And this would be the total amount of members that you currently have. So if you come over to the filters, and you can see here is where you can turn them on and off. So if you click that, it'll give you different ways to filter. So if we go down here, paid through year is going to be a very helpful button for you. You can click 2022, 2023, you can click both of them. But if you just click 2023, it is going to show you who has paid for this next coming year. And if you scroll down to the bottom and you hit the data, here is where it's going to show you who that member is. And you can download this report, and it will download into an Excel file for you.
And it also, if you, now this is one person, so it's not going to take very long, but as you get further into the due cycle, and if you have several, especially the larger counties, and it takes a minute, it will always do this, but it will send you an email. I find that helpful if I'm busy and I don't want to sit and wait. It'll just send you an email to tell you when your report's ready, and you can click on that.
Right. The more information, the longer it takes. So this one would probably download pretty quick. The reason I chose this one, though, is because I wanted to share with you this filter here. So this is the new join, reinstatement, and renewal. So if you do not have options to filter, that means you do not have someone that falls in one of those categories. So you may have all three options, you may only have one or two options. So if you only see, again, one option or two options, it means that there's not a member that fits into one of those other categories. But if you click that, it is now going to show you who your new join or new joins are. So this was a student member that looks like they had just joined. So they had paid for 2023. If you click renewal, this is going to show you they had 26 members renew. And you can have multiple filters on at a time. So if I click on 2023 and I have renewal clicked, you can see that currently they have not had anybody renew yet for 2023. So you can have multiple filters on. I always do like to remind you that be aware of having filters on, because it does affect the output. So if you have a bunch of filters on and you're wondering why you're not getting any data, that could be the reason why. So you can come over here and X them, or just unclick or click them. There we go. You do have the option for the reinstatement, renewal, join section that will show up on your report. So if you wanted to run anyone who has paid through 2023 and you want to know all of the categories, again, this county doesn't have many for 2023 yet. I just had wanted to show you the new join. You can click both of them and there is a filter then that will show you who the new joins are versus the renewal versus the reinstatements. I know with some of the filter options, once you filter, it doesn't necessarily show that on the report. But I do like that for this one. You can check them all and have a column that shows you which category they fall into. So I think those are probably for right now, the main things you would be checking into.
Thank you, Julie.
Sure.
Is there anybody on the call that would like Julie to do anything within their county? Is there anything that you're confused about or you'd like to just sort of in real time have her walk through?
Hey, Claire, I'd like to just schedule some time with Julie because I am kind of getting back into membership and I have used Nucleus, but I don't think to the scope and breadth that I want to be able to like obtain this knowledge. My quick question though, we do have physicians that are going to call in that say, hey, did I pay my dues? So, is that something, I need a name, not exactly a whole report. I don't want to take up anyone's time. So I don't know, Julie, if I can just connect with you later.
That would be fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so a couple things. Thank you, Nadine.
You're welcome.
One is, of course, we are happy to connect individually. What I suggest folks do is during this time is run a list every morning when you come in, since it changes every day. And then keep it on your desktop. So if somebody calls, you can quickly pull that up and see on that original. Julie, if you want to go back and start from the beginning to show the membership card, which is the first card when you log in, and why don't you just show Allegheny
Sure.
Now, Allegheny, Nadine, yours is because you have so many, your report is not immediate. It won't take more than a couple minutes, but so this first card that we see here, that's everybody, all of your members. And I would suggest you download that. So Julie, if you want to show her, like start, you would click explore. And then you would go down to the bottom where it says data.
Yep.
Click data. And then click download.
Okay.
And that way you've got an Excel document listing all of your members.
Okay.
And showing their new join or renewal status. So you would know, Julie, does that have the pay status on that, or does she need to click the pay status?
I believe you would need to you would want to click the paid through year.
Paid through. Okay. Hey, thank you. That's actually great. That actually is going to be part of my, I think, housekeeping in the morning. So that's good.
Right. I think during like this busy time, doing it every morning is very helpful because of changing. And actually, it probably is, I was going to say, or the end of the day, we typically, during the busy time, it takes our staff all day to post payments as they come in. But you would know by the end of the day, we're current as of that moment. So either the very end of the day or the very beginning of the day, I would pull it once a day and just keep it on your desktop.
Okay.
And that way, and it's real time. So it's not lagging. It's not like we posted today and you wouldn't see it. It's, I think they tell us 5 minutes. I say like, I pad it 15 minutes just to feel, if we
confident,
like now, yeah.
Hey, thank you. That's a big help. Thanks.
Sure.
If you need more help, feel free to reach
Yes,
out to
I
me.
will,
and we
Julie.
can
I
walk
certainly
through some
will.
more specifics.
Thank you, Julie.
Sure.
And we are also, for our quarterly check-in, we are going to have some breakout rooms, one of which will be the nucleus. So please feel free to join us, Nadine, for that. and join the nucleus room where we just are going to walk through scenarios, answer any specific questions, that kind of thing. So that would also probably be helpful to you.
Thanks, Claire.
Sure.
Quick question, Julie. It's TJ from Berks, who has a massive cold, if you couldn't pick up on that. The introductory rate, usually I see that, and when I break down for my members, if that's not on there for Berks, am I just that is it my understanding I don't have any that are using that rate right now, or was it moved or taken away and I missed that?
So if you have someone that is taking advantage of that, it should be showing. Are you looking for the entire year, like 2022?
Yeah, I do a monthly kind of dashboard where I put all that together, and I had in July someone in the introductory rate because it came up, and then there wasn't even anything for me to click on the drops for that.
So you
next
may
time I
not,
found it.
Why don't you, Julie, go to 2022, since we know somebody will be there for 20, because we're only a few days into this year, and just walk through how you would find it, realizing it would be from the past, but just looking to show how you would find a $95 person.
It's really unfair you bring up my stats after looking at Allegheny.
hey, I had Wayne Pikes up before, so.
It's all relative, TJ.
Right. So I see the offer, but when I go into the membership type, which is what I use to filter.
So the package
used to-
here.
Yeah, it used to, no, now it's there. Fantastic. I'm glad I wasted everybody's time.
Well, so this could be where there's confusion also. So if you are not looking at this live card, some of the cards are end of the month cards also.
Okay,
So that could be the reason.
that probably was it.
Also, if you have any filters on at all, that certainly affects your data.
Okay, thank you. I feel a little bit better after showing everyone that I do have someone in introductory. So thank you. That's good to know that it probably was the end of card.
Well, and the filters will get you every time I get a weird report, when I go back, it's because I didn't clear my filters. So that's always,
Thank you.
it's like typically my first question. If somebody says, this looks funny, I say, did you clear your filters? Because I am super guilty of that. Any other questions for Nucleus? And also be thinking, if you don't have any right now, please be thinking of, what have you run into while you're running reports? What are things that you say, I wish I could do this, but you're not sure how? Because during that Nucleus time, we would want to be able to walk through all of those scenarios.
Hey, Claire, I have a quick question. And again, this is like, I'm old school from like 5 years ago, but so we have Nucleus and this is great. We're going to use this to do some of our own ACMS messaging. But in the past, and I'm talking 6 years ago, we used to send our, whatever we wanted to say on behalf of our president, or, hey, 5 things why you need to join. Do you do that on our behalf if we send you content but you don't do that anymore?
No, you have
Okay.
you have your emails on your membership report.
Right.
And so we leave it to you. I know
Okay.
some of the counties are using like MailChimp or Constant
Mhm.
Contact or something like that. And so, yeah, you would do that through your
Okay.
own devices.
Nope.
But that when on your report, it is way in there. Like when you pull up this report, it has a cajillion columns. Just make sure you go way over because I missed it. And I know some other people missed the email column, but it is
Okay.
there on your member. If we have an email address, it's on your membership report.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
And Claire, it might be helpful. So there's many columns. So sometimes in Excel, if you go under the search and just type in email and hit enter, it'll take you right to that column if you have trouble finding it.
All right. Thank you so much, Julie. And again, if you, Nadine, happy to help individually. Also, everybody, please let us know, your specific things that you want to ask questions about. Julie, if you can stop sharing your screen, we will move to Dave, our final topic for a legislative update.
Good morning. Not a whole lot to report this morning. The only update I will give you is prior authorization. It looks as though, as of last week, that we're going to have a vote in the House, first in committee, is what the anticipation is, on the week of the September 12th, either 12th or 13th. The hope is that that vote will happen, and then the House will be able to move that bill either to second consideration or even final consideration that week, depending on how the mechanics of it all works. Is it possible they could get that all done in a week? It is. Is it likely? Probably not. But it all depends on a number of different moving parts, and I'll get to that in a second. If that happens, or even if it doesn't happen that first week in September when they're back, they will be coming back again before the election. And there are enough session days to get this done. And at least at this juncture, everyone wants to get it done, not the least of which is us, but also legislative leaders in both the House and the Senate want it done. So I think it looks like the skids are as greased as they can be. But there are a couple little nuances. One is the longtime executive director of the House Insurance Committee, a gentleman by the name of Garth Shipman, has retired kind of suddenly as of Friday of last week. So there's a lot of folks scratching their heads as to how that's all going to affect this. But the leader, Kerry Benninghoff, the majority leader in the House, he has assigned his staff person to sort of pick this ball up, if you will, and run with it. So I do think there's a reasonably good chance this is going to get done when they come back next week. So that's really the update on that. Honestly, relative to other legislative activities, there are so few session days left before the election that I don't really see a whole lot of activity. There's a couple bills that may move out of one chamber or the other, but at least at this juncture, for us and for our purposes, the only thing that kind of remains really in play, at least at this point, is the prior authorization legislation. So that's it on our end. Obviously, we're getting geared up for the election. The PAMPAC board is going to be meeting the end of September. Typically what that meeting is, just so all of you know, is to go over what we've given to candidates thus far in the 2-year cycle and who deserves a little extra going into the final weeks of the campaign. Normally we go into that with a fair amount of money in the bank. Unfortunately, that's not the case this year. Our coffers are a bit low, which is unfortunate, but we're doing our best to solicit physicians to contribute. We should, or I should point out, especially with Nadine on the phone, we do, have that physician running for the House out in the Allegheny County area, Dr. Venkat. We did send out, I think last evening, an email to all PA Med members across the state, alerting them that Dr. Venkat is in fact running for office, and hopefully to not only support him financially, but we also ask for support for PAMPAC, given that we are doing a fair amount of extra things for him going into the election. And we are going to be having a fundraiser for him, a physician-only event on the 21st of September out in Pittsburgh. So we are doing, a fair amount of activity on the legislative front, certainly the political front going into the election. And that's about it. So if anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Dave, on the PAMPAC end, I was actually going to write my article for our magazine on giving money to the PAMPAC and why it's so important this year, without saying
Right.
why can't it, why, but is there any chance, and I would be happy to do as many blasts as possible from here to the end of the year to try to do that out to my members. Is there a chance I could get some information, some talking points, some, I don't want to say where the money's going to, but I think a lot of our physicians are weary of giving it to it because of not supporting previous things and the politics of it all.
Sure.
But I think it's important this year to try to at least educate them as much as I can to try to get more in. So if there's any information you could forward me that I could use as some sound bites, because again, I'm not on the board, but I do want to promote it as much as I can, especially until November.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I will provide, maybe 5 or 6 bullets that you can highlight. And I'll give those not only to you directly, TJ, but I'll give them to Claire to share with all of you if you are so inclined. Obviously, I agree with you. I think that this last cycle has been challenging raising money politically. We have heard anecdotally from our colleagues who are involved in other associations that they're experiencing the same thing. And even at the national level, though I don't like to use this as an excuse, but I think a lot of folks are weary to give into the black hole of a political action committee where they don't really know where the money's going. And they don't know exactly, especially unfortunately, in this day and age when everything is so polarizing, God forbid, they don't want to give money to a PAC if any of that money is going to go to candidate X or candidate Y because of something unrelated to medicine, whether it's gun control or abortion or what have you. So a lot of folks we're seeing around the country, they're giving, those who are giving money are giving it directly to their local candidates, which isn't bad. I mean, that's a wonderful thing. I don't know that our physician members are doing that. I would like to hope they are, but bottom line is, TJ, I appreciate the effort, and we will provide you guys with some talking points. VenCat is the biggest one. Even though you can't say give to PAMPAC, your $100 will go to the VenCat campaign. That's illegal. But certainly you can say, as we have, that PAMPAC is very engaged in the VenCat race, and we need the resources to help elect him and to help re-elect other friends. But I will get some stuff out to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Just for one last point, I should note that the fundraiser out in Pittsburgh, while we are sort of the point organization on that, POMA is also engaged with us. I know they are sort of co-hosting the event with us, and they are going to be reaching out to their members as well for those who are not members of PA Med. So just wanted to make sure everyone knew it was kind of a joint effort.
Hey, Dave, did you say you'll have those notes for TJ, but you're going to post them on the county SharePoint?
I'll give them to Claire. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Nothing else? All right, thanks.
Thank you, everybody. Anything else for the good of the group? It was a little bit long today. I apologize. All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for your help. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.